What's going on, guys? My name is Silent, and first of all, let me just thank you guys for clicking on this video. This is the first kind of video that I've made that is going to be like a sort of like a commentary video, and so I'm sorry if it seems like it's a bit all over the place. I'm going to try my best to try to keep on track with certain things and whatnot, but anyways, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the topic. So our topic for today is going to be skill-based matchmaking and whether or not it should actually be inside of a Call of Duty game. And the reason why I'm talking about it specifically in a Call of Duty context is because, as you guys know, the Call of Duty Cold War alpha recently just dropped on PlayStation 4 exclusively. And while that alpha was going on, it was only a 2-day alpha. Within that 2 days, the main thing that everybody seemed to draw concern towards was this SBMM, or skill-based matchmaking, that was placed inside of the game. Now, it's no big surprise that Call of Duty Cold War had skill-based matchmaking in it. We avid Call of Duty players expected this from the get-go, but the big problem that everybody has with it at the moment is how they've implemented it and just how strong and sort of abusive that the skill-based matchmaking system actually is. And so, like, for a lot of players, what skill-based matchmaking does is it will read your KD, your score per minute, your standard stats, and it would kind of come around and kind of pull you into games where people have very, very similar stats to you. So let's say you have a 2.0 KD and like a 400 score per minute. Well, it would put you in other lobbies with people who have very similar score per minutes, very similar KDs, very similar like kills per game, that kind of thing, to try to like challenge you, to give you more of a challenge, so that way you're not just playing against a mix of really good players and really bad players. You're kind of playing in that middle ground for you, where pretty much everybody has a head on their shoulders and they're doing everything that you do, generally speaking, in your game. So it makes you think a lot more, and it requires you to sort of keep a better grip on everything that's going on around you. And that's like the main thing that people kind of look at when they see like skill-based matchmaking in their game, or in a Call of Duty game specifically. And with this introduction of skill-based matchmaking in Cold War, the problem with it was that it was just super strong. You could have 2 or 3 good games, and then all of a sudden you're playing with like Optic, Scump, and Face Pomage. Like, I mean, it's crazy the escalation that it had. You could have like 2 games where you had a 2.0 KD, then you're playing against people who have like 4.0 KDs on average, and all of a sudden you're going like 4 times negative with like 3 kills, and the other guy on the other team just curb stomped your head in. You know, it was actually pretty insane how just far out there the skill-based matchmaking was. Now, obviously, we can't really say much about it right now because it was just an alpha. I mean, it wasn't even to beta yet. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on, and Treyarch and Activision and everybody who, you know, has a hand in making this Call of Duty, they know that. You know, they know that there's a lot of things that they needed to change. That's the whole point of this alpha. It was so that way people could actually get their hands on the game and enjoy a new game for a couple of days, and so that way they could have statistic data telling them what's wrong with the game. And it just so happens that the skill-based matchmaking was one of those things that really riled people up. And by rile people up, I mean that a lot of pro players really did not like the skill-based matchmaking. And that kind of surprises me as a semi-casual player. I don't think I'm a very like pro player, but I would say that I'm a little bit better than average. So I'm kind of like a semi-casual, somewhere in that category. But you know, that surprises me as a semi-casual player to see these pro players kind of complaining about skill-based matchmaking, because don't get me wrong, I don't like skill-based matchmaking as much as the next guy, because, you know, the kind of content that I try to make on Call of Duty, if I was to make content on COD, would be like sniping content. So obviously, if I'm playing against really bad players, it's gonna be pretty easy for me to hit my shots and, you know, get phased like clips and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm all for SBMM not being a part of the game, but at the same time, SBMM does have its good characteristics here and there, and that's kind of seems to be the thing that pro players are kind of skipping over. You know, a lot of pro players are saying that they really just do not want skill-based matchmaking in the game at all, because it takes away from their capabilities of, one, being able to just stomp on people and make a really good YouTube video out of it, so that way they can post it and get a good bit of money from their YouTube videos, which is very understandable. I mean, you have to realize that these people do this kind of stuff for a living. I mean, it's literally how they put put food on the table. It's how they pay their bills. It is literally their job to go into Call of Duty lobbies and just stomp on you. That's their job. And you know, it is also their job to go to competitions and stuff like that and actually compete. But to a degree, the YouTube videos that where, you know, where they go 100 plus in one game, those videos do very well. They get a lot of views, they make a lot of money from those videos. So I mean, you kind of have to see it from that point of view as well. But the main problem that they have with this skill-based matchmaking is that it makes it very, very difficult for these pro players to make videos like that, especially when the skill-based matchmaking works the way that it did inside of Cold War. See, because when you're in Cold War and you're a pro player, all of a sudden you're not playing against, you know, standard little Timmies running around the map. You're playing against pretty good, like, name brand character players that are giving you a run for your money, to say the least. And so it gives you a really big challenge as a pro player, because all of a sudden, you know, you're used to playing against people who aren't really anywhere nearly as good as you. And then when you're playing Cold War as a pro player, you get thrown into lobbies with people who have the exact same KD as you, the exact same score per minute, and then all of a sudden it's a complete game changer for you. And it really causes you to have to actually try 100%, like to your full capabilities, in order to make one decent YouTube video. And that's extremely exhausting. And I see exactly where they come from when they say this kind of stuff, because if I was them, I wouldn't want to have to try 24/7 at 100% best just to get one YouTube video out there, so that way I can make just a quick couple of dollars. You know, me as a casual player, it doesn't, you know, I'm not going to make much money off of a YouTube video anyways, because like I said, I'm a casual player. So even if I did upload anything where I went, you know, 30 or 40 plus kills with like 10 deaths or something like that, you know, the gameplay is good, but it's not on top of, like, on their level. And that seems to be the main thing that, you know, everybody kind of looks at when they're talking about skill-based matchmaking, and it's mainly where pro players come from. But at the same time, when you think about it, like, pro players, they're complaining about not being able to shit on people. So that's what the main thing is for casual players, kind of snapping back at these pro players, because when they say stuff like that, it kind of seems like they just want to be able to make a lot of money off of their profound skill at the game, instead of actually going to, like, competitions and competing for their money in an actual competitive setting. And to a degree, that is true, I think, of what a lot of pro players want to do, because like I said, it is their job. I mean, you can go to competitions all you want to and win hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I promise you that will only pay the bills for a little bit. Competitions don't happen every day. They don't happen every week. Matter of fact, they only happen like a few times, like every other month. So I mean, like, your income source without YouTube as a pro player is very, very minimal, unless you stream and stuff like that. But without YouTube, your income, if you're just looking at tournaments, is actually pretty low comparatively, even if you do win those competitions, and even if they are really big, high quality competitions. And without that income, you're going to be hurting, and it's not very fun. I can definitely see where the pro players are coming from, but I can also see where the casual players are coming from, because they don't, you know, casual players like me, I don't want to play against people who are extremely, extremely good at the game. You know, I already know for a fact that's not going to be fun, because I know, like I said, that I'm a casual player. I know for a fact that I'm not Optic Scump or Base Pomage or anything like that at this game. I am a casual player. I realize this, and I realize that I cannot compete with these pro players who literally do this for their job. And I really don't feel like being placed in one of their YouTube videos where I go 3-54 and he's got 120 plus kills because of me. And it, like, that to me is very annoying and very unfortunate for me as a casual player to have had that happen to me in order for that person to have made more money than I would make at like a 9-to-5 job. You know, it's so skill-based matchmaking definitely has to have something done with it in order for the fairness in Call of Duty that a lot of people like to talk about to actually exist. And so, like, in my opinion, I think that skill-based matchmaking does need to remain in Call of Duty just to try to keep fairness at an equal level. But I don't think that the level that they had it at in the Cold War Alpha is necessary to be fair. I mean, like, the Cold War Alpha was just crazy. In Modern Warfare, the skill-based matchmaking is pretty bad, but it's not nearly as bad as it was in the alpha for Cold War. And like I said, it is an alpha. Obviously, things are going to change, but right now, the way that it seems like, if you know, the developers actually listen to the community, skill-based matchmaking could just disappear from the game in general. And I don't think that's one of the healthiest things for the game, because like I said, you know, I don't get me wrong, I would love to be placed in random lobbies with random KD, like, you know, oriented like players and things like that. But at the same time, I also don't want to play against these random, really good god tier players who do this for a living. And that will happen without the implementation of skill-based matchmaking. You know, it's just something that will happen. And, you know, yeah, you could just leave the lobby and look for a new one, but, you know, who's to say that that won't happen in the next lobby or the next lobby after that? Basically, without skill-based matchmaking, if you're not a pro player, your experience in the game is going to be extremely hindered in how much fun you can have. And so that's kind of like my main reasoning in wanting to have skill-based matchmaking in the game, just as long as it's not extremely like overpowered in a sense. You know, I don't want to play against people who are super bad, and I don't want to play against people who are super great unless I'm super great, you know? And I just kind of want skill-based matchmaking to place everybody equally in lobbies that allow them to not always have to try their absolute hardest, but not always have to, you know, just completely play brain dead at the same time. I want skill-based matchmaking to give me as a casual player a challenge, so that way I actually have motivation to become better than what I am at the game. But at the same time, I don't want these pro players to exhaust their self and feel like they absolutely have to become the #1 top tier player of the game in order to actually have a successful career in that Call of Duty. But that's just my opinion on like how things should work. And let me know what you guys think. You know, if you enjoyed the video, by all means, please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is the first kind of video that I've made personally that is a commentary style video. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the Cold War gameplay in the background that was captured off of my PlayStation when I was playing the alpha. That is my gameplay, even though the name says Beatbox Battle. That's just an old Activision account that I had from like Black Ops 4 or something like that. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and head out of the video. Like I said, I do appreciate anybody who stopped by to watch, especially if you watched it all the way to the end. I would really appreciate it if you left a like on the video, and also if you shared the video around a little bit. I'm gonna try to make more videos like this in the future, so if there's anything you'd like me to change or anything you'd like me to work on, please let me know. By all means, I will take every single comment into consideration, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say. So if you agree with what I said, leave a comment, and I'd like to know what you guys think. But peace out, guys. My name's Sighlent. I'll see you in the next one.